Welcome to my astrological update for the month of July. Many of you can already feel the energies are building up. Something very important awaits us this month, but more on that in a moment. But before I begin, I really welcome you on my YouTube channel. And if you would like to receive a weekly astrological and energetic update, please subscribe to my free newsletter. You can find the link below this video. Before we dive deeper into the month of July, which will be very interesting because Mars and Uranus are coming together with one of the most dangerous fixed stars called Algol. But let's look at what came true from my June predictions. And I will also give you more information in this video today about countries like Iran, Israel, the USA, Russia, and Ukraine. So what happened last month? I had given an update on Taiwan. I said that the Mars transit over the retrograde Saturn in the birth horoscope would initiate a period of intense challenges that could manifest as aggression and violence. And the internal political situation with chaotic scenes in the parliament shows that the situation there is very serious, not just because the increasing threats from China. And these developments confirmed my predictions. Next, I had predicted that Iran would face protests and uprisings driven by economic difficulties and strict government regulations. Indeed, there were a lot of protests in June which were violently suppressed, leading to a lot of arrests. The economic situation remains tense, and the sanctions continue to weigh heavily on the population. I had pointed out the possibility of terrorist attacks and security threats in Israel. Indeed, there were several terrorist attacks and security threats, especially through drone attacks by the Hezbollah. These attacks have significantly worsened the security situation in the country, confirming my predictions. Politically, the situation remains tense, and further unexpected developments could follow. But now let's look ahead to the month of July, which will be marked by intense and transformative energies. These astrological configurations require our attention and show us both the risk and the great opportunities. But now let's start with the beginning of the month. On July the 1st, the Moon and Mars are in the sign of Aries, with an aspect from retrograde Saturn. And this feels like an explosion of energy. Mars gives us determination and drive, while the Moon intensifies our emotions. And with Saturn turning retrograde shortly before, we might feel stuck, leading to anger and frustration. And especially also in the region of Europe, we can see this. With these energies, we are encouraged to plan our actions carefully and also to take responsibility. The next day, on July the 2nd, Neptune goes retrograde, When Neptune is retrograde, we become aware of where we hold on to old illusions that are no longer true. Sudden realizations are possible. It's important to see which area of your life this affects. Look at your Vedic horoscope. And if you don't have one, you can order one from our online shop. I will put the link here or under the video. And you cannot use the horoscope of the Western astrology because Vedic astrology is a total other system, and we connect to the real positions of the stars in the sky. Neptune is connected to the fixed star sheet at this moment when Neptune will turn retrograde. And this makes Neptune's energy especially intense. Fixed stars can bring challenging energies, and this constellation can cause new confrontations and conflicts on a religious level worldwide. Next, we have a new moon on July the 6th at 20 degrees in the sign of Gemini, in the lunar mansion Punar Vasu. In Vedic astrology, we have, this is really special, lunar mansions, and they give us more information about the energies. And the new moon in Punarvasu, and this is a star. Punarvasu is connected and is called as the star that brings back the light. This creates a powerful energy of renewal. It's a time to close old chapters and start new ones. Use this energy to clarify your visions and set fresh impulses. Punarvasu invites you to bring light back into your life and seize new opportunities. On July the 7th, Venus moves into the emotional sign Cancer, focusing on our relationships. This is a perfect time to deepen emotional connections and foster a harmonious family life. The next day, July the 8th, is very important because the lunar node Rahu, the upper lunar node, shifts into another lunar mansion that is called Uttara Bhadrapada, and this brings a significant energetic shift for the upcoming month. And maybe you can feel it on that day or a day before or around this time, an energetic shift. The lunar nodes are connected to our destiny, your destiny, my destiny, and the destiny of humanity. And this shift is particularly important because it moves into a lunar mansion that is ruled by Saturn, while Saturn is retrograde. And this means this topic represents by Saturn discipline, responsibility, and karma will be in the focus worldwide, and this can also increase fears because we can hear these days everywhere in the media the topic of a third world war. And with the energy of Saturn, it can really bring up a lot of fear. Also because Neptune is now turning retrograde, this is really a big topic. And another thing, Saturn is also related to illness, and with Ketu, the South node, in the opposite house in the sign of Virgo, this could involve also the topic of a pandemic. And I have spoken about this before. Since this node shifts affects the coming month, it might become more relevant in the fall. We will see. With Rahu, it's always important. It's always important not to be too impressed by what the media spreads. The highlight in July is on July the 15th, when Mars in Taurus exactly conjuncts Uranus. This constellation brings explosive and transformative energies. Mars in the lunar mansion Kritika gives us the ability to be persistent and determined, and Uranus is also in the lunar mansion Kritika, and the symbol of Kritika is the edge of a knife. That's really not easy energies. And Uranus brings unexpected twists, explosive energies, and urges us to stay flexible and open for changes. This special conjunction of Mars and Uranus is so dangerous because it is connected to the fixed star Algol, which is known for its intense and often challenging energy. It's a time when we must expect special and sudden changes. It's helpful to know which house in your horoscope this affects. Please look in your Vedic horoscope. Worldwide, these energies could shake the financial world. And also, there's really a high risk for an earthquake. It must not happen exact on this day. It can happen before or after. On July the 16th, the Sun moves into Cancer, and this brings security and fears into focus, and emotions can run really high. On July the 19th, Mercury moves into the sign of Leo, and this means you can be very creative and communicate your ideas clearly in the coming weeks. Show the world what you have to offer. The full moon is on July the 21st in the sign of Capricorn in the lunar mansion Uttara Ashara, and Pluto is also there, representing global structural changes related to power and positions of power. A very exciting time. Let's see what happens. But now let's look at individual country horoscopes and how these energies play out there. Let's start with the country Iran. In July, Iran will have strong allies by its side, symbolized by the planetary influence of Mars and Uranus in the 11th house. At the same time, the pressure on women and children will increase. These tensions are intensified by the retrograde Saturn and will increasing existing problems. In Iran's birth horoscope, Venus, planet Venus, is in the 8th house in the sign of Aquarius, and Venus represents the woman of the country, and the 8th house is associated with pain, suffering, and even death. Aquarius symbolizes social regulations and freedom, and Ketu is also there and takes away these rights from Venus, the woman of the country. And this means that social rules and structures might particularly strip women and children of their rights and freedoms. For the country Ukraine, I have already spoken in previous months about a possible leadership change. It is always difficult to pinpoint an exact date, but it might happen in July. The retrograde Saturn is in the opposite house to the Sun, which is the 8th house. And I also checked President Zelensky's horoscope, and there we see Uranus is in the 1st house, indicating sudden changes. Mars, the 1st house, stands for the person itself. And Mars is also moving into this house, bringing the energy of violence and possibly attacks. So for President Zelensky, it is really important to be cautious and mindful of his safety. For the country Israel, there is an ongoing threat of terrorist attacks. Israel might face terrorist attacks on its leadership in July. Uranus and Mars are transiting over the Sun in Israel's horoscope, and the Sun sits in the sign of Taurus, and this is not an easy time. And the retrograde Saturn in the 6th house could also cause economic difficulties triggered by maybe military actions. Israel is facing a difficult time. For the USA, it is a year of major transformation. The country faces significant challenges. In July, Uranus and Mars will be conjunct in the 6th house, the sign of Taurus. And this alignment could trigger economic challenges, including rising inflation, job market difficulties, and increased tensions with global players like Russia and the BRICS nations. The retrograde Saturn on June the 29th, and I spoke about this in my last update, activates Saturn in the 10th house of the USA birth horoscope, indicating significant changes in leadership, like I already mentioned last time. We will see how this will play out. These energies are still very active. And there could be significant power shifts and a chaotic situation before the upcoming election with these energies of retrograde Saturn. For the country Russia, July brings surprising resistance, which might come from unexpected places. Mars activates the new moon and Venus in Aries, and this highlights issues about the fallen soldiers and mothers mourning their sons. The pressure from this affects the public opinion, and this also affects Putin's position. The loss of so many young soldiers weighs really heavily and affects the national mood. And public support is crucial for Putin's position, especially in this crisis. And I checked Putin's chart, and the sign of Taurus with Mars and Uranus is his 8th house. This is the house of big transformation. And there the moon sits in Putin's horoscope in the 8th house and is now highly triggered. And the moon is very important in a horoscope. We will see how this will play out. This can lead to explosive changes, even though the energies are intense and bring a lot of challenges for all of us. They also offer the chance for profound positive changes. It's a time to break old patterns and take new paths. Use these month's powerful energies to deeply connect with your inner self and release old illusions and manifest positive changes in your life. Stay open to the wonders and opportunities this month offers. Trust your inner wisdom and the process of transformation to help you master this time and emerge stronger. So thank you so much for listening and share this video. It's really important. And I love you.